Hello and welcome to this new video. So first of all, I just wanted to explain a bit why I'm making this video and why I will keep making those. So I've had a lot of people ask me how I make my effects, and I know I had started to make new tutorials a while ago, quite a long time ago actually, but I never really followed up on that, and now I realize that I should have, but so I'm trying to start a new tutorial series from now. So I will always be making VFX from scratch, as you can see here in this scene that's completely empty. And so yeah, I'm gonna try to teach you how I make my effects, and at the same time I'm just going to have some fun making some effects, I guess. So yeah, let's get started. So this very first video will be focused on trying to make a black hole. So from scratch, no textures, no shaders, just nothing, empty scene, just ShaderForge, which I know is not free, but if you don't know how to code your shaders by code, just like me, I think it's a very, very good tool to make your shaders so that you can at least create effects. It's very easy to use, it's very user-friendly, at least I think so, and honestly, for the potential of this tool, I don't think it's too expensive. But that's just on me. And so yeah, let's get started. So as I said, black hole. First of all, when we start an effect, always gather references. So I took a few pictures here from Google of black holes. And you can see they are all very different. And so yeah, it really depends on what kind of effects you want to make. Especially for this black hole, if you want something that's more void-like or something that's more ethereal or more fiery, it all depends what you want. Me, I personally would like to go a bit of a mix of those two, like a bit mystic, but not fire or not just pure void or vortex. Just something a bit mystic, a bit magic like that. So we're gonna try to do that. And so let's get started. So this is an empty scene. There's absolutely nothing in there. I just created a new project and that's it. So as you can see, there is ShaderForge here. But now we're gonna try to start the first folder so that we don't put our stuff everywhere. So we're gonna call this black hole. Whoops. And then we're gonna save the scene so that we don't lose it. Always save your stuff, because I've lost a lot of stuff by not saving all the time, and that's always very sad when it happens. So keep saving, keep pressing Ctrl S, that's your life savior. And so today we're gonna make materials and shaders and textures. Okay, so yeah, before we start, I might cover stuff that I already covered in the previous videos, but as I said, this is more of a new start of the tutorials. So yeah, if you already know a lot about Unity and you just want to make art or VFX, lots of the stuff I'm gonna cover today might not be useful, but it's always good to cover your bases. So let's go. So yeah, first scene here. So first of all, we need a particle system. So, effects particle system here. So of course, I'm not gonna explain how particle system works. I mean, that's a bit too basic. But yeah, okay. So yeah, just particle system is just a system that spawns, in this case, quads that are facing the camera, and you can adjust how many it spawns, how fast they are, and the colors and all that. I mainly only use particle systems in my effects. I have sometimes used meshes directly from Maya, but it's very rare, because I think the Shuriken system is very, very simple. It's not complete. There's still a lot of stuff that I think could and should be added, but it's very, very efficient for what I'm doing. So I will be doing my effects the same way I do them all the time, and I hope you enjoy, and I hope you learn stuff. And once again, if you have anything you don't understand, please ask in the comments. And also, sorry for my accent. I know it's not perfect, but hopefully it's good enough for you to understand. So yeah, let's start. So particle system. I usually have a first particle system. That's my parent for all the rest. So this one will not emit anything. Here. It's just main. It's just so that I have a parent, and then when I put new particle system in there, they all play at the same time. Like you can see here I have two particle systems, but they both play at the same time. It's just, I think it's just a lot easier for me to work like that. So let's call this one just dark orb. This will be the very center of the black hole. Like here, just the darkness here. Okay, so when I need it to proc whoops. Maybe it's better to have I think just one that will last 1 second here. No speed, looping of course, so that it always loops. Shape, we would just want it to be a mesh vertex, so that it only spawns from the very center of the effect. Then the size, I don't know, we can start with 5, should be good enough. Okay, then renderer, we'll take care of that later. And then just so you can see, you can change the color here for your, that's the start color. So that's the color the particle will have at the start, as opposed to the color that you can change over the lifetime of the particle here. Like here, if I do this, you will see it beats like that. Because there the alpha is at max, so the transparency, or rather the opacity, is at maximum, and then it goes to 0, so it fades over its lifetime. But here we always want it to be at max, so no color over lifetime. Okay, so first of all, let's try to make our first shader. So this one will just be a simple alpha blend shader, simply. So we just go here, create, where is this? Shader, standard, and we'll call it alpha blend. Replace it with ShaderForge so that we can use it with ShaderForge. Yes. Okay, so this is ShaderForge. So the way it works is that you can right click to have all your nodes, or you can just press the key, like here I'm pressing the T key on the keyboard, to have all the nodes that start with that letter, which is very, very useful. So let's start by placing a texture asset. So texture asset is just saying that, okay, this will grab a file that is a texture in my project. So here, let's start with the default particle one, just so that we have something. And let's call it main texture. Here. Then we need a texture 2D. This is what we'll use to work with the texture. This is just a call for a file, if you want. Here. And then, let me check here. Okay, it's opaque. We want it to be alpha blended. So we just select into blending, blend mode. So that's the way it will blend with other objects in the scene. Alpha blend. Okay. Here you have a little warning sign. That's because we don't have the opacity connected yet. So what we will do is that we'll take the R, in this case, into opacity. Why do I take the R? That's because sometimes I just like to have my textures compressed into, like, you know how you have all your channels. You have the R channel, then the green, then the blue, and the alpha. And sometimes I like to have just to store information in different channels. And usually I just put the R first, because that's the way I have done it so far. And here we want the RGB to be into emission. Okay, so now, as you can see, we have something that is alpha blended. Okay, that's all we need for now. We'll see what works and what doesn't work when it's applied. Create, right click on the shader, create material, so that we have directly the right thing here. And we call it dark orb. But we'll start with matte, so that we know it's material. Here, and we'll put it here, matte dark orb. Okay, so now as you can see, it's not really dark, it's not really an orb yet, but we're getting there. As you can see, changing here the color, won't do anything. And that's because we need to add the vertex color into the shader. For now, it just knows that there is a file here that's displayed, and that's about it. So to do this, we have to multiply here the alpha. Yeah, with the alpha here. No, not the alpha here, sorry. The R to the opacity. And here, all of them by all of them into the emission. So what it will do is that it will take the color of the particle or the vertex color, but yeah, since we always work with particles, let's call it just particle color. It will take the RGB of the colors with the RGB of the texture and multiply it to have the emission. And then, same thing for the alpha. We take our opacity, then our alpha, and multiply them so that we have the opacity. Let's compile, and let's check. Hey, it's dark. Yay, it worked. So now let's make a texture for it. Let's make a new document. Maybe, well, it depends on what you want to do with the effect. If it's something that's full screen, you get a high resolution. If it's something that's just small or in a mobile map, maybe that's something that we need a very small resolution. In our case, we just want the effect to be pretty. So I think 256 is a very correct resolution for it. So we want to create an orb that looks just like this. So as you can see, it's very sharp on the edges, even here or here. Not this one, but most of them are very sharp. So we'll do also something that is very sharp. So invert, Ctrl I to invert the color, new layer, and let's just create a circle that is white here, like this, and let's save it. Not here. Where is my thing again? Show an Explorer. Here. Okay, textures. Let's just call it text dark orb. Or maybe just sharp disk. So that we can reuse it later if you need. Okay, so we have our texture here, and we just have to apply it here. Hey, that's a good start. Okay, so now just so you can see why this isn't very good, we'll just turn off the lights here, and we create a new material for the skybox. It's not gonna be a very skyboxy material, but just so you can see. Skybox tests here, and let's just put it to black, and yeah. Okay, so of course that's a black hole. Let's say we are into space and we don't see the orb, of course. So next step would be to add a rim to it, like here, like here, like here, like not this one strangely, but I think it's better with a rim. So the way we'll do this is just we'll duplicate this, and let's call it rim, and let's say we want it to be what color will we go? I said magical, so let's go into the purples here. Okay, so the good thing to know now is that if I move it, it will change. So you can see here, it can do like an ellipse with it. But think of it of the effects of the particles as Photoshop layers. You have like the background layer. In this case, this would be the skybox. Then you have the first layer. Then you have the second layer that's above it. And we want the rim to be above the dark orb. You'll see why in an instant. So we go into renderer, into sorting order. Wait, where is it? That's the one here. Order in layer 1. So that no matter where it is, it will always be in front of the dark orb. Now let's change that so that it's not completely black, so that we can actually see something. Oh. And needs emission here. Okay. That you can see that it's actually working. Okay, so we'll make a new texture to make the actual rim here. So the way we can do this simply is through changing this into a line, and just so you can see, you can say rim here. Let's make a new one. Okay, and let's apply it here. Here, as you can see, this is working. And now if I move it, it will always stay in front of it still. But this is not really pretty, you know, it's really not a good thing. So what we'll do is we'll make it smaller, and we'll add a glow to it, because glow is awesome. I love glow. Okay, and I just merge stamp visible, Ctrl Shift Alt E, and I'll blur it here, 5, 6, this into screen, or lighten, screen looks better. And then once again, just a very small glow, so that it is just soft and not completely sharp. Here, rim, yes, okay. And here, it's already looking a bit more like a black hole now. But the way a black hole works is that it attracts all light and it doesn't escape. But we could imagine that there is still some light on the event horizon that somehow manages to escape. And that's the rim here that you can see. And for this doesn't look like light. It's very dark, it's not powerful. So we need a new shader. And this shader will just be add. Very simple one too. You just need to change the blending mode. And also the name, so that we can select it later. Add into shader settings. And blend mode, additive. And compile. So you have a warning sign here that says opacity is connected, but we're not alpha blended, which is perfectly normal because we have the opacity here, but we don't actually need it. So what we will do, so that we can still use the alpha from the vertex color, is that we'll just multiply it here. And that should be it. Compile. Okay. And here, rim, custom, add. And here, that's a lot better already, right? This looks a lot more powerful. So, what else can we add? Yeah, we can add some kind of little vortex, but I don't like the idea of having the vortex inside of it, because, as I said, black hole attracts light and it doesn't let it escape. So I think it's better to have it in the outside. Bit more like this one, but on billboard, like, how to explain that? Well, you'll see. So we'll just duplicate this one, and we'll call it waves. Okay. We just create a new material, matte waves, and just so you can see the IDE here. So we'll make this new thing here spawn more particles, and not on burst, but continuously, so over time. Let's say 5 maybe. As you can see, yeah, it's getting very ugly, but don't worry. And we'll change the color over lifetime to be growing from not visible to here, and then a small fade out at the end still. Okay? And then we'll make the size bigger, that it's like maybe 7 or maybe, let's say 10, so it's double and easier to work with. Then we will work with the size of a lifetime. So by default, that's how it's worked. That's how it's made. And that's the opposite of what I want. I don't want them to go out of the black hole, I want them to go in. So we can try this. That's already better. Now it's way too fast for me. So let's put the lifetime to maybe 4. Yeah, that's a lot better, but now you can see it's very noisy. There is way too many of those waves. So let's try maybe 1. Yeah, now that's a lot better. But as I said, black holes attract light and don't let it escape, so it's not supposed to be, there isn't supposed to be anything in here. So we'll put it behind the dark orb that we have. So instead of 1, we'll say -1. And as you can see, yeah, that's already a lot better. Here. But, I mean, this is really too graphical. This is too much like a logo or anything. It's not really magical or anything. So we will make a new texture for it. So let's do here, Ctrl I. So I don't have my my Wacom attached, so I'll be drawing with my mouse, but that's okay because it's not gonna be something very difficult. But we can say we want something like here, and maybe some more things here. Whoop. And maybe something a bit more sharp here to add more details. And what we'll do now is just blur, radial blur, and spin. Okay. So now we will save this. And let's call it waves. And let's put it here. Okay. So that's already a lot better, in my opinion. It's not very visible, so I'm gonna adjust the levels a bit. Yeah, as you can see, there is half of it that's not used, so we can easily do this here. And then in those kind of textures, I like to add yet another lever and test it all the way on the left, from the white all the way to the left. Then we can see if there is any white that's going on the sides. And this time, no, it's just right here. So that's good. So let's save it. Here, waves, save, yes, okay. And yeah, that's already a lot better. But it's I mean, it could be a nice effect, honestly, but I want it to be a bit more chaotic, a bit more not always on the same sides, because here you can see the thing is always from this and here. So I don't really like this. So I want them to rotate a bit. So I'll really use rotation over lifetime. And here you can see that's, I actually like this one. That's doing a good job at showing that it's an object that rotates in space. So maybe we'll do -45. Or maybe, no, I don't like this rotation side. So we'll go maybe 60. Yeah. Now this looks a lot better. And to amplify this, we can, whoops, come on. Nope, doesn't want to. Okay. Yeah, Control A, Control Shift C, Control V. Sometimes, I don't know why, Control Shift Alt E doesn't work. I never understood why, but that works too. So we will try, I'm not sure how it will look like, to have, which one is it again? Pinch? No, it's not the pinch one. It's the twirl. Yeah, the twirl one. So that you can see here. So I just need to check the rotation size. So it goes like this. Like this. Okay. So here. Okay. Let's save this here. Hey, yeah, now that's looking good. But once again, it's always the same side that takes it. So we have to add a little randomize. So the start rotation will have to be randomized using random between two constants. And I'll just go 0 to 360. And now, as you can see, it's not always going that way. It's sometimes here, or here, or here. It's always different. We can also have a little random for the size so that it's not always like this. So that sometimes it's a bit smaller, or sometimes it's a bit bigger. That's a bit too big. And here maybe adjust that a bit too. And maybe make it bright really just only when it's reaching the border. Yeah, that looks okay to me. But it feels very flat. It's always facing the camera, but you see here it's not really in 3D. So what can we try to fix this? Yeah, we can already try to duplicate the waves. And we'll call them waves horizontal. And we will make them not into billboards, which is how they act right now. They just look at the camera. We will make them into a mesh. And yeah, for now it's just a cube, which looks a bit weird, but we'll make them into a quad. And not rendering into the view, which is the same as a billboard, but into local, so that we can rotate them around as we want. So just so that we can see them correctly, we'll just change the rate of their emission so that it's a bit bigger. Yep. And okay, here they are. So I just have to rotate them. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Okay, here. And put them up to 0. And here. Okay. Let's make them bigger, because this will be a very important part of the effect. Okay. I think there is a bit too many of them, so like this. I want the billboard ones, I renamed them so that I made sure I'm not confused. I want them to be, how to say, a bit less distinguishable, a bit less visible. So we'll reduce the alpha for them. Maybe make them a bit bigger to compensate for that. So that we still have this energy that's coming in. And those ones, I want them to be much slower. Yes, like this, that's a little better. But now, those ones, I don't want them to be behind them because it's in 3D and it doesn't make sense that the wave that would be here is not visible. So we just put them on 0, or wait. As you can see, this is an issue because our sphere is not actually a sphere, but rather just a plane. So there is nothing to collide with in a sense. So what we'll do is just recreate a sphere to make it look like there is an actual black hole there. So the dark orb will actually become a sphere now, instead of just the dark orb. So just to make sure I don't lose this, I'm just gonna, just gonna make a backup back that I'm gonna remove, and here. And now let's call it a mesh and into a sphere. This sphere here looks okay. Now let's change this. Instead of being this, I just want it to be complete. But there's no texture, it's just completely white. Dark orb here, let's just make it so that the size fits the rim we have. Looks okay. And now this should be working. Why is it not working? Okay, so I found it. So the way it doesn't work is that because our two shaders are alpha blend, it doesn't know which particle to render in front of the other. So what we can do, there's two possibilities. We can just use the standard Unity shader, but that's not gonna be very like helpful. So we can just create our own opacity shader, opaque shader, I want to say. So once again, let's just duplicate this and let's just call it opaque. Then ShaderForge, and let's just change alpha blend to opaque here. Of course, remove the opacity because opaque doesn't have any alpha, and compile here. And let's change. Oh, well, I can do this actually here. Custom. I forgot to change it. Once again. Oh no, Visual Studio. Okay. Visual Studio. No. Open in ShaderForge. Do not double click on it because it will open your code stuff. And just here in shader settings, call it. What is it again? Opaque. Okay, compile shader. Okay. So here, dark orb, custom, opaque. Okay, so this is working kind of like I wanted. But now the issue is that I cannot have this rim to appear over the sphere. But well, it's okay, we'll work with this. So we have the dark orb now, so we can just delete this one. We can just keep the sphere. Oops, here. And we'll modify, or create rather, a new shader. We call it opaque Fresnel. So let's just simulate the rim and hopefully it will work. So for this we need to create a new Fresnel node. And we need value to drive that Fresnel. Let's create Fresnel value. Start with this one here. And then a power, no, not banner, power here. And let's call this value Fresnel power. Whoop, whoop, yeah. And let's start with one here. So what it will do is that we will add our current effect to this one, so that we have our sphere and the sides of the Fresnel to show. Here. Whoop, whoop, here. Okay. But now I want to drive the color of the Fresnel using the vertex color, and this way I cannot really do it. So we will change this a bit. We'll add here, multiply, here, here. And for this case, I don't think we'll need this, so we can just remove it and have it this way. Compile. To just give him a color, I just need to give it black. And we can change it later if you want to add a little accent to it too. Here. Okay. Okay, that's good. Now, let's modify the start color so that it's similar to what we have. And here it is. Good. Perfect. So it took a bit longer than I expected. Sorry for that. But yeah, that's also a big part of VFX. Sometimes you encounter issues that you haven't encountered before and you have to fix it. And that's part of the fun. So now let's change a bit the values of the Fresnel. And yeah, I like it this way. Maybe a bit brighter. Or, I mean, yeah, maybe a bit brighter would be nice. So for that, we'll add another value here. Or maybe we'll do it here. Rather, so that we can only change the color of the intensity of the Fresnel. So here, whoops, Fresnel intensity. And let's go with 1.5 as a starter. Okay, Okay, now I like it. But of course, as you can see, it's intersecting really harshly here. So let's modify that. So for that, we need to go into size over lifetime of our waves horizontal and just say that they don't go as far as completely inside of it. Okay. Now, as you can see, this effect it's not ugly, but the colors are not really the best. So we'll try to change that. Instead of having just one color for the waves, we'll put this back to black, to white, sorry, and we'll change the color of a lifetime. So that at the beginning, let's say it's kind of blue, and then as it gets closer, it gets to the pinks. More like this, and maybe a bit more like this. Let's accentuate that. Here, maybe here, and then let's say it goes right inside of it. There you can see there is a lot more colors and it's already a lot prettier. But now, I feel like they are way too visible now. So let's attenuate them a bit. Yeah, that's more like it. And also for some reason, I don't know, I feel like they are rotating in the wrong way. So let's try changing that. That way I feel like they should just be going outside instead of inwards. That... It's weird. I mean, it doesn't look bad that way. So let's keep it that way. My 260. Okay, so see this one too. We'll add a bit more colors to it. Color of a lifetime. Well, actually, we can just copy this one here. No, right-click, copy to billboard, right-click, paste. And maybe let's make them a bit more visible here. Yay! So now that's cool. That's a good start for a black hole, I guess. But it'd be nice to have a bit more details to it. And now that I think about it, it'd be nice just to have a bit more tiny details going around it. So yeah, so let's try to add some details to it, some little stars that are rotating around it. So sadly there is no orbit system in Unity, which I think is pretty sad because it's very useful and really hard to make an actual orbiting particle system. But we'll try to fake it in a way that maybe is not the best, but at least it's working. So let's add a new particle system here. And let's put it into a box here. Let's rotate this that way. So what we'll do is that we will make particles go that way, and then we'll have a wind system that, well, think of it as a gravity system that will make it go like this. It will add a weight in the center, which is kind of how black holes actually work, by the way. So let's create this wind zone, but not directional, spherical. So for the range, 20 is a bit much, so let's try maybe 7. Okay. And let's activate them. External forces here. So let's do a lifetime 1. Nope. As you can see here, modifying the multiplier makes it go around it much more. So now it's all a matter of just changing the numbers here and there to make it look like it's what we want. Whoops. So, 1, Whoops, that's too much. Okay, so let's do it that way. Okay, 10. And it's really weak. Maybe let's just make it bigger. Main 2. Ooh. So that's kind of the thing. As you can see here, it changes depending on how make it happen. And also let's make them a lot smaller because yeah, that's really better. Wind zone maybe. Yay. Stem here. Maybe more speed. Also, let's select all of them. Well, not the wind zone, but let's put pre-warm so that it's already in the loop when we start the effect. Maybe a bit bigger so you can see them. This is not really what I want. Oh, okay. That's because I had speed here. I forgot to remove it. That's why I was wondering why it wasn't working. Okay, now this is a lot more what I wanted. Okay, good. So I think it's way too fast now. So let's tweak that. Okay. Okay. Now this is working good. Now let's duplicate it so that we have the same but on the other side. Okay, and minus 3.5. And as you can see, I want it stabilized. This is just what I wanted. And here you have kind of a galaxy. So now let's just rename them. Let's say stars 1 and stars 2. Okay, and we can edit both of them at the same time, which is great. And we can try adding some trails to them. Now, I wouldn't recommend it in the actual production because it's like very performance heavy, especially when you have that many of them. But for this tutorial, we can try that. So first, of course, we need to create a new material for that. So let's just duplicate one of them and matte trails. Let's put it here. Oops, renderer trail material. Hey, it's working, yay. Okay, so now the trails are very, very bright. Way too bright for me. So let's change that a bit. And color over lifetime here. It's just color. I actually want it to be just a color, so that's fine. And let's give it here some nice purple color. Be a bit more. Okay, and then color over trail, I want this to be a gradient. And I want this to fade out. Maybe have more like this. So if I pause, you can see the trails here, like here it's very visible. it has a start and then it's fading away. But of course the texture for the trails is not accurate. This is this and it's not really what we want. So we will make a new texture for it. Ctrl N. Custom, maybe this one can be really small, like 64 by 64 should be enough. Okay. And if I remember well, this goes like this. Whoop, way too big. Opacity 100 and like this. Let's see how it reacts with that. Do remember the side for this one. And it will be gradient or gradient trail. Yeah, that's fine. Let's put it here. And here, yeah, it works. Here you can see the trail, which just has the beginning of the gradient and then it's fading away. Same for this one and all of them. Now we just have to make them smaller. No, it's not this. Lifetime. Size effects width. Yeah, that way it's not really what I want. Okay, world space. Where is this again? Okay, width over trail. Okay, I remember. Curve. I wanted to start at 0.4, I think. Okay, and I want it to fade, like, to get smaller at the end. Hey, and now this is looking good. Let's do this so that we can see how the effect looks. Let's remove the shapes for those ones. And here you have a black hole that looks a bit like a galaxy. But I want the stars to have a color too, because for now they are white and it's not really the best. So let's just give them, maybe let's try like this. And default particle is not what I want, so let's create a new material from add and let's call it stars. Matte stars rather. Whoop. Here, of course, need to give it texture. For now, we just use that. Well, the color is not really good. Just use. Something like it. Maybe we can use to random between two colors, but it selects between blue and more purple. Yay. Okay. And so now the stars, as you can see, they just pop in and out of existence, like this one. Poof, disappears. So now we're just gonna give them a color of a lifetime, simple one. Here. Then they reach max intensity and then they just die out. Just give them a bit more of a variation for the size. And let's make them grow over time too. That here. And then they will fade out and slowly get smaller and smaller until they die. Yeah, that's a lot better. A lot better. A lot more discreet too. Okay. So now, is there anything else that we can try to add for this? Because the video is already long, so. No, I think that's good enough for a first video. I'll try to get something different next time. And so thanks for watching, and I will make a package with this project so you can download it and look at it. And if you have suggestions or things you would like me to cover or questions about what we made today, feel free to ask in the comments, and see you next time. Bye!